My conversations with Laura Doyle began 12 years ago. I was searching for answers from someone who had never spoken before. After hours and hours of conversations, pieces of the puzzle finally began falling into place. Here's a little of that puzzle. In 1985, Laura Doyle and Karen Severson murdered my sister-in-law, 17-year-old Missy Avila. One of the things I was reading about was between Eva and Karen in the last couple days before this conversation was the drive down after the murder. Eva says one thing, Karen's, obviously in another car. That was a big question I had for you. Like, Eva says stuff like, you're going in and out, happy that you died, and then to, oh my God, we killed Missy, maybe we should go back. Can you tell me about that drive down? And what, also, was it getting dark? Was it dusk? Was it light? Was it?
Yeah, it was getting dusk out. Um, when Karen and I got to the cars, Eva was already there, and Karen just jumped in her car and left me with Eva. And I was a little upset over that because I really didn't know Eva, and she wasn't even part of the plan. It was just gonna be Karen teasing Missy, not her roommate as well. So she got in the car with me. I guess I don't know how I could feel. I know what I just did, and I was scared, and then I was sad, and but I got in my car, as Eva did too, and on the drive down, I don't believe I said it like she was saying, but I was going back and forth saying, "Oh my god, that we just yes, we just killed Missy," and then I would say, "But maybe she's still alive," and why I would go back to that is because Karen had left the scene already. She's gotten her car and took off, and I felt like she was the strongest individual there. I don't mean by muscle, but just mind-wise or something, and I just thought maybe she wasn't dead and maybe she was still could move, and maybe if we could just go back. So I was going back and forth on that because of that reason. After Karen left, I thought maybe there because I basically chose the side that day, how I feel, because I chose that side and she's gone now. Maybe, we could do that. Maybe we can make a change. But also another thing is it was Eva who brought out the knife from her sock or something. I don't know, just appeared. That was used to, well, we don't want to get to the crime. So
Well, let's talk about it. You're here, so let's talk.
uh, she pulled the knife out that was used for the hair cutting. So in the car, I'm also remembering that as I'm driving, and I'm like, well, no, maybe the strongest one is still here. Maybe Karen wasn't the strongest. Both of them are very strong personalities. I do know that. I don't know much about Eva. Like Miss, I just met him at a party or two, but the drive home was very confusing for me because I wanted to go back in hell, but and I didn't. And I don't mean I didn't. I didn't mean it, like that. But I just felt like since Karen was gone, maybe we could go and help her. And what kept me going is the remembrance of Eva was the one who originally pulled out the knife, and I didn't know where the knife was at this time. Karen could have had it, she could have had it, and I mean there were times during that day I was scared for my own life, not as a cop out or a victim. I don't want to be that. I just know that I made some poor choices because of fear and being hated, or, I was very codependent on my codependent made me a different person.
So, how did Eva, when you told Eva you wanted to go back, what did she do?
She said, no, just keep driving. No, 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 just keep driving. Just keep driving.
So
And when it was getting dark, so, it was dusk, it was gonna be dark anytime. I think by the time we got down to the lights and stuff, the civilization, it was, getting dark at that time. So, so maybe she was scared to be in the dark and driving or something.
did you ever notice the time? Did your car have a clock? Did you have a watch? Did you ever notice the time?
No, I can't say. I just know that I went to Missy's house, like, maybe around 2, and I could be off on that, but I thought it was around 2, and, we went to Stoner's car, so we wasted time there, some time, so I really don't by the time we got to the canyons, I lost time.
What made you go up there?
The plan was just to tease her in our cars and, like, we're all just fighting, over boys and stuff, and then we, get to the place, and we got out of our cars, and, I thought we're just gonna go down there to, the river not river, I guess it'd be a creek, and sit where we used to go hang out when we had ditched school. So, I mean, it wasn't even odd in my opinion, it wasn't odd that we were up there. So, even though we were playing like we were fighting and stuff, and what I mean by, Karen was, hollering at her about some boys and, her boyfriend, whoever, she was with at that time, and, people was arguing with her, over that, and then I just thought it was gonna be over. I brought beer. I thought we're just gonna go over here and, drink now. That's, what it was supposed to be.
Did you have a beer in your hand? Was anyone drinking beside you?
Yes, I had a beer and a cigarette in my hand. Well, in my right hand had the cigarette and the left hand had the beer. And I left all that evidence behind. I don't know how they didn't get it. I threw my bottle there. So I had been, my lips were on it and the cigarette, we all smoking. I don't know. I'm, I don't know. I don't know how they see that.
Well, a lot of things were overlooked on this crime, a lot. And it's disappointing when I look back on it. I mean, had they taken the beer bottles and had they gotten your fingerprints, we wouldn't have had to wait 3 years. And I'm sure at that point, everything would have come out. It would have come out fresher. And at least there wouldn't have been that 3 years of torture. What were they saying? Can you remember what Eva was saying? And can you remember Karen? And then how did it get how did Missy respond? Was she, because Karen says she was cussing her out, everyone out, I don't know. Anyways, I'd like to hear what you, um
Of course, I can't remember word for word, but being the teenager, and using cuss words and stuff like that, I can almost believe that the words that what I say right now is probably true. But saying that she was just a slut, fucking everybody in town, fucking their boyfriends, and because Johnny April and I don't know the one for Karen, and you asked about Missy, she didn't once I didn't hear her get angry and holler at her not one time. She sat there crying, and there was a point in time where, she said that, the worst she could do is just leave me here. I thought that was the worst too.
Now, you knew Karen since you were little. There was something you told me that was extremely profound. Do you know what I'm talking about? Something your mother told you, and could you tell me that story?
Yes, the first day that I brought Karen over to my house, we played in the room or did whatever, and then I, went out there. I said, "Mom, I'm gonna walk her halfway home." She said, "Okay." Well, I walked her halfway home, and then I came back home, and as soon as I walked through the door, and I mean, this is just so crystal clear. I came walking to the door, and I went back into the kitchen. That's where my mom was. She was cooking, and, she said, "One day," and her exact words, "One day that girl is going to get you in trouble." I looked, I was like, "Oh, come on, mom," shrugged it all off, and it's funny because when I was sitting in the county jail right after, I was arrested, I was sitting there looking at the phone, I'm like, "I'm gonna have to call," and I want so bad for that first phone call, I wanted to tell my mom, "How did you know?" But it wasn't the first phone call, I didn't have the heart to bring it up yet, they're gonna be sad already, so after a few phone calls I finally asked my mom, I said, how did you know? I mean, you said it when we were 8 years old, 8 years old. And that meant nothing to me, but my mom knew. My mom knew there was evilness in her. She knew. I mean, and Karen was the first person I did school with, first smoked some weed with, was my first of all of that, going down that road that my mom knew was going to happen.
Laura, you're with Nanny, and Nanny and you actually were bunkies in
Yeah,
prison, right?
you were. Yeah.
Hi, Nanny. And Nanny came with Laura to Civil Brand when we filmed and was there for all of it and was Laura's emotional support. So I've met Nanny. You were just starting to tell me a story about when you were with Karen in prison.
Karen was, she wore many faces, always wanting to be, I guess, center of attention, but not center of attention. If you could get that, she really controlled her girlfriends and tried to, manipulate her bosses. She was the best worker or whatever. Her and her girlfriend both worked with me in the auto shop, and I got to see how she tortured her girlfriend. It was horrible. But it was weird when Karen got to go home. Everybody was her girlfriend, everybody was relieved just to get her out of this space, and nobody, like, wished her well. There wasn't a crowd of people walking her to the gate or anything like that, and everybody was horrified when they found out that she wanted to sell her story, tried to do all that stuff. Karen was a horrible person. I can't stand
Thanks for listening. I'm Siobhan Avila, and for the first time, Missy gets the last word.
Okay, this is the end of the tape. Bye bye. Thanks very much.